Okay, let me ask you, how, first of all, did the job on Seinfeld ever come about?
Well, it was kind of a very strange, perfect storm. I was doing a sitcom on ABC called A Whole New Ball Game, which was put up by the producers of then the series Coach, which you think back, you'll remember, was a very successful series with Craig T. Nelson.
Right.
And they wanted to pair up a series that they could move along with Coach, and if they had to move it around, they'd take that series with them. So they would lock up a full hour of television programming. Well, they ended up moving the show Coach around a little bit, moved our show around a little bit, and we never found an audience. So halfway through the season, they called and said, "Don't bother coming to work. We've canceled the show," and which is the way ABC and all the other networks do it. And so I went out to dinner that night with my manager, crying in my beer, trying to take the cancellation as personally as I possibly could. And Larry David's office called and said, "We heard John's show got canceled, and we have this guest star on the show this week. I don't know if he'd like to do it, but it's a really funny, weird character that he could have a lot of fun chewing up and spitting out with the scenery." So I said to my manager, I said, "Tell him thank you, but no." And I said, I'm licking my wounds over the cancellation of the series today. And I said, I don't really want to go guest star on somebody else's show. And in truth, I had never really watched Seinfeld, even though at the time it was the number one show. Well, come to find out, the following morning, I get a call at about 10 o'clock, and my manager says to me, "Get out of bed. I never called last night. They're waiting for you over there in an hour." So I ended up going over there, and there I was at the table read, and Seinfeld being the most disorganized show on television, they only had half the script written. And sure enough, by the end of the week and through the taping, Elaine was working for the J. Peterman Company, and I had a job. Everybody looked at me and they said, "Well, welcome to the cast." But it's funny. I learned a lot because the second I finished that table read, I picked up the script and I walked away to an area that was secure. I called my manager and I said, "This is the number one show on television." I said, "It's not funny." I said, "It's not funny." Now, what I didn't know, and it took me a while to learn, was that it wasn't Golden Girls funny. It wasn't a show that your job was to set a joke up and deliver a punchline. Set the joke up and deliver a punchline. It wasn't the way it was. Seinfeld was funny because everybody played their scenes like it was Streetcar Named Desire. Everybody was so passionate and it was like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? It was like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor going at each other tooth and nail. That's what made the scene funny. If you played it for the drama, it was funny as the comedy. And that's something that not a lot of people realize, and it took me a while to realize it as well, that I had to play it as a drama. And that included, the intensity of J. Peterman for his, miswanderings around the world and his river markets that he was always traveling to and in search of an elusive swatch of corduroy and what have you. But I had to learn a new style of comedy, and that's what made Seinfeld different.